Okay, let's talk about codes. You carry codes within, without, in your skin, in your eyes, in every string of your hair, in your heart, in every organ of your body, and everything that you feel, that you taste, that you see, that you experience, everything that you grab with your two hands carries codes, meaning there is a way of handling it. If you decode or decodify, I don't know the word in English because I'm translating straight from Portuguese and I just woke up, so bear with me. If you decode these codes that are all around you, you understand the functioning of life. You understand the flow of life, the flow of things. And so you can tune into it and make your code combine with this flow, meaning then you flow with life and not going against life. Because there's something I realize a lot of people don't understand, which is there is a humongous difference, like there's ages of difference and separation between going with the flow and going against the grain. Because going against the grain is not settling for what humanity forces you to settle into. This is one thing, because going with the flow has a lot to do with going against what the matrix wants for you. Why? Because the matrix doesn't support people who go with the flow. That's why the vast majority of human beings are stressed or anxious or depressed, because they are going against themselves. The flow means aligning your code with the code of everything around you and the universe, and making within and without vibrate in the same frequency. That is what decoding means. It's understanding the code and making codes match. That means that you go higher and higher and higher until you feel really good about yourself. And once you feel very good about yourself, you just go with the flow. You quiet yourself, you go into this deep silence within, and you follow what this silence is pointing at. And if it's not pointing at, you go nowhere, because there's nowhere else for you to be. It's so simple, it's so simple. That's how you decode and simplify your life. But to get there, you must go really deep within, and you must go to the depths of your darkness so that you can get to know your darkness and bring the darkness out into light. Does that mean that darkness stop existing? No. It means that you put darkness and light together in order to be whole. And once you are whole and there is no blockage and there is no separation between what's dark and what's light within you, it's like unblocking the pipe. It's like calling the plumber to release all the blockages from the sink of your house. You know what I mean? So that the water can flow freely and abundantly in your sink. It's exactly the same thing. You take whatever it is that is blocking the pipe, and you do the plumbing work that you have to do within you. And once this pipe is unlocked, the water can flow abundantly, and so it can come in, it can go out, it can do whatever it wants, and you become a waterfall instead of a very, 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 very narrow stream. So decoding or decodifying whatever it is that you need to is simplifying your life. Meaning, when you don't observe things and when you don't get to know things in detail, you often analyze, meaning you try and fit whatever it is that you're observing right now into something that you already knew before. So there is no progress, no evolution, no learning of something new or of some new skill. And you jump into conclusions because you are trying to fit something new into something that you already know. This is not possible. So that means you become this big. That's why everybody who heals trauma, who observes things without having the need to get it to conclude something, they always say, damn, I feel like my mind has expanded. I feel like there are less limitations to my mind. I feel like I'm more intelligent than I was before. I'm wiser. I know more than I knew before. Or I can remember things that I learned in school that I didn't remember before. Or, for example, I had a really hard time calculating, and now I can calculate and I don't even know how. That's because the place of your brain where the blockage was, to make sure that you know you would repeat, because the blockage in your mind, the blockage in your thoughts, is like when you scratch a CD. You know what I mean? It's like when there is a bug in your computer and the song keeps repeating itself over and over again, but just in the exact same place. So you can never get to the end of the song without it bugging. You know what I mean? So what you do is you debug your brain through understanding where did this repetitive thought start and how can you do differently. Because a lot of people, they go, when they are trying to decode whatever it is that they need, they go into this internal dialogue of, I'm not going to do it like my father, I'm not going to be like my mother, I'm not going to do like whatever enemy the person has. Yes, but then you focus. I understand that. It makes sense, and it's a great step to take. It's not wrong at all. What I'm saying is, it's the evolution of thought, and that's great, but it's not the end of the process, because there's still somewhere to go. Because when you say, I don't want to be like my father, I don't want to be like my mother, I don't want to be like my enemy, what you are saying is, I don't want to be like someone else. Cool. That is very different from I am myself. It's you have to reduce yourself to the point where you get to I am. You see, that means simplifying. That means decoding whatever it is that you need to decode. That means really taking away all the shit that doesn't belong to you and narrowing down to something very simple. I am. People often think that life is about getting more, about expanding, like if bringing everything on meant expanding and multiplying. So you marry, so you bring someone else into your life. You have kids, you bring more people into your life. Then you go to work and you get money, you bring more into your life. Then you buy a car, you buy a house, you go on vacation, you buy clothes, you buy shoes, you buy this, you buy that, you buy furniture, you buy, and invite people in, and invite people in. And that brings a lot of stuff into your life without letting go of something first. So you're currently like completely overwhelmed because the roots are not developed or big enough to sustain such a humongous amount of branches and leaves and flowers and fruits. You understand? That's why a lot of people who are very successful, who have a very abundant life financially or family, like in a sense of you have a family, you have a stable life, you have a good life, you have money, everything is okay, you don't have health problems, you have a great life, but still you're not being able to manage, you're kind of overwhelmed. And it doesn't mean that you are unhappy. It means that you're overwhelmed, meaning the branches are too big and the roots are too small. You have to grow the roots so that the roots can sustain the branches. And for that, you have to simplify life, meaning you have to release whatever it is that doesn't serve you anymore. The more you donate, the more you simplify, the more you let go, the more you surrender, the bigger the roots will be and the more stable you will be. Because then you won't have an excess of things to carry. You know what I mean? You will have just the amount that you can handle right now. That's how you become relaxed. And that's how you disoverwhelm yourself. You see what I mean? It's by decoding things and seeing how this thing helps you, how you can use this in your favor, and work. Instead of working to be stable, to control, to be in the same place, doing the same thing for the rest of your life because this is safe, You invert the situation, you let go of it, and you feel safe within yourself. And so you don't need anything to come from the outside for you to still feel safe. This is the first step for you to be stable within yourself. You stand with your own 2 feet on your own in the middle of the jungle and you feel safe. In the middle of a slum and you feel safe. You feel safe wherever you go because it doesn't matter what happens. You know that you are capable of decoding whatever it is that is happening, simplifying and finding a way out. And if you don't, and the only way out is death, for example, you know that you're going in peace because you have done what you had to do in this world. That's the importance of following whatever it is that your heart tells you to do. It's so simple, you know, life is so simple. We make it hard because at the end of the day, all you have to do is breathe and do something about it. Breathe and do something about it. And sometimes the doing something about it means laying in bed and resting, reading a book, you know, and then people feel guilty for resting, for reading a book, for standing still for a moment, or they can't handle it, meaning you didn't decode enough. It's not decodified enough. You know what I mean? It's so simple to know if you are doing everything that you can or not, if you can do more or not. And the do more many times is what I just told you. Do more many times means listening to your heart more so that you can allow yourself to rest without feeling guilty, without having to find an excuse for why the hell are you resting. You are resting because your body needs to rest. That's how you manifest. When your heart tells you to rest, it means that the universe has something to do whilst you rest, because it needs you to rest so that whatever it is that the universe has to do doesn't have the influence of your energy. This is co-creation. You do your part, you relax, the universe does its part. And that's why being relaxed in the world that constantly asks you to freak out is the most revolutionary act ever. That doesn't mean not caring for anything, being numb, being quiet when you should speak, or speaking too much and never being quiet. Being relaxed means I breathe and I act. I breathe and I do. I breathe and I do. That's what means being relaxed, living in the present moment and going one step at a time, doing one thing at a time in your rhythm.